Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're almost getting ready on time, kind of.
You sure about this?
Maybe.
I mean, with some of our previous questing, time is something of an abstract concept now.
I will not deny this. For those interested, I went ahead and spliced together a best death of highlight reel for our trial run last night of me dying to the electric fence multiple times. Yeah!
And my invaluable efforts to keep your morale up.
It was appreciated. It was getting kind of tight on time there.
I was happy with Estinian.
You know what the stupid part is? Right before dinner, I went ahead and queued that up as Dragoon again.
Uh-oh.
And I cleared it in one shot. I did use both the KO meters, but yeah.
Very good. Well, that was the annoying thing when I failed the first time, and I was just going, I was so close.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I did quite as well the second time. Yeah, I did not do as well the second time around. I got most of the way through it, but not quite as far as I did the first time.
She was not playing around.
Well, that's hardly a surprise.
Well, last I checked, our
especially with how long it took the adrenaline to clear for me,
is actually in Othard. So why don't we start teleporting now?
Really?
Yeah, we need to head to Doman Enclave. But we're going to take a slight detour through the Ruby Sea because that costs 0 gil. Hello, Foxfire. Welcome.
You're going to make me leave behind this delicious... No, wait, my food... What is wrong with this place? It's got great food, but it takes forever for it to arrive. Fine, I'm leaving. I'll find good food somewhere else.
Are you sure you properly put the order in?
Yes.
Are you sure they just didn't auto-deliver it to the Baldessian Annex?
Yes.
You're a chocobo, madame.
Fancy. Hear that, Urza? You're fancy.
Great.
Yeah, well, don't let it go to your head.
And now we fly off to the Doman Enclave. In interesting and unexpected gaming news this week,
Uh-oh.
I woke up to find that Sony has purchased Bungie.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Bungie.
Oh, boy, talk about musical chairs.
Now, keep in mind that Bungie was, for a long time, owned by Microsoft.
Yes.
And Microsoft has kept the Halo franchise.
Oh, yeah. You realize how much that is worth to Microsoft?
Mm-hmm. The thing is the reason why Microsoft spun them off is they went their own way after, I believe it was Destiny, and Destiny 2 did so poorly.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for swinging for the bleachers every time. Which was not really a Bungie thing, but very much a Microsoft thing.
And what's really annoying is a lot of people who actually play those games, I believe it was Destiny and Destiny 2. Anyway, they honestly believe the game can be saved and continues to be something of a hit. One of the reasons why players bailed on it was because of monetization loot boxes.
Oh, Microsoft, you should know better.
And of course, there's Ubisoft, who are trying to shove NTFs down people's throats.
Yeah. I'd say they should know better, but it's obvious they don't. And I am a little worried about just how little of the gaming industry is going to know better.
Yeah, there's a lot of the MMO player base who are like, just say no to this BS. I'm with them.
Give me just a moment here.
Yeah, Foxfire, they were originally a Mac dev in Port House. They were actually scheduled to be bought by Mac or by Apple for Halo. And then Microsoft came in at the last second and offered them a deal they couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
So that they could have Halo on the Xbox.
Yeah, which, was a very smart move in many respects for Microsoft because, of course, they really needed a good smash hit AAA title for Xbox, and Halo delivered.
Yeah, Halo is what sold and made the Xbox actually worth something.
Well, not entirely, but it was kind of the central tentpole.
So, hello, Yagiri.
Well, been a while since we've talked to her.
Sorry we kept you waiting. It is good to see you, Thayrin, Rylea. When we received word that you of all people had answered our call, I could scarcely believe it. Yet, here you are. Lord Hien will be pleased for this reunion. If you'll wait here a moment.
Well. It's a thing that the kami should guide your steps to our door once more, and with such fortuitous timing. Pray forgive me for not affording you a hero's welcome, but time is not on our side. Not long after receiving word of men transforming into hideous beasts in Thavnair, a similar creature was born of a woman in Asari. After attacking another villager, it took to the skies and fled, though to where we know not. An all too cruel twist of fate, for the one slain was among the prisoners returned to us in that deplorable exchange with Asahi and the Empire, just when they had at last begun to piece their life back together. This blasphemy must be stopped. Alas, our foe is wont to keep to the skies, well beyond the reach of our samurai and shinobi. Thus did we seek the aid of those proficient in ranged combat, able to pluck the beast from the heavens. Of course, martial prowess alone will not solve our problems. Others have turned into weaker but no less gruesome abominations, as was the case in Thavnair, and their numbers increase by the day. From what I understand, this phenomenon is not unlike a sickness which spreads by feeding on fear and anxiety, emotions which, of late, can be found in abundance. Slaying the beast means nothing if the people's hearts cannot be put at ease.
My bet is you.
Lord Hien! Yep. My Lord Frederick. You have to help. The villagers, they...
Calm down. Tell us what's going on. Sir, please, calm yourself and tell us what has happened.
Another's been interned in the my lord. For a blessing, no one was harmed when the beast flew into a rage, but the people are in a panic. I fear what may happen next. It would seem we have even less time than I thought. Worry not, we will see to the beast. As of yet, there is no cure for this affliction, but we will save what lives we can, I promise you. I trust you are ready to join the fray? was last seen near the glittering basin. Come, I will show you. Hiya.
Yo! And Freeport to Namai. Well, almost.
So, who first?
Higiri. Still no sign of the beast, or any other for that matter.
Without a cure, we've no choice but to cut them down before they can cause more harm. The beast was right here, I swear it.
We believe you.
I thank you for leading us here, but it is not safe. Please, return to your village. Been a while since I've heard this theme. We should split up if we're to have any chance of finding it. Rylea, Thayrin, would you see to the west? I will search in the north. You, Gary, I leave the east to you. If you find it, remember, these blasphemies are no longer people. They will not hesitate to strike you down, so you mustn't either. Now, let us not waste any more time.
I need to make a come dance with me macro.
And I'll be back in a minute.
I think we found our target. Now we just have to wait for Ryan to get back. So yeah, hello Aki.
Eh.
Eh?
I'll be back again later.
He beat you back there again?
Kinda.
Okay. Let's see if we can save this frightened youth.
That sounds good. And you know, just for giggles and works,
Fine.
you don't want them to feel left out, do you?
No. You hurt?
Are you all right? We heard shouting and came as fast as we could.
It would appear Thayrin and Rylea arrived not a moment too soon.
That's what we do. Why? Why did you kill my brother?
Because he wasn't your brother anymore.
Your brother. Young man, that creature was not your kin. Not anymore. Had she not laid it to rest, it would have killed you and countless others. But if your heart cries out for one to blame, let it be me. The beast was slain at my behest, for it was the only way. No! No, you're wrong! You killed him! You murdered him! I hate you!
Issei, what are you doing here?
searching for Tanbo, though clearly you found him first. The monster was his older brother, as you may have guessed, and Tanbo gave chase the moment it ran off. I beg you forgive him for his outburst. His brother was all he had left. Their father was conscripted by the Empire and was, regrettably, not among those returned to us in the recent exchange of prisoners. The hope they might one day be reunited was their only comfort when the Viceroy still ruled. I can only imagine how they felt when she walked into Sari's shadow of her former self. Tsuyu may have had no memories of the monster she was, but her victims still see her in their dreams. Nevertheless, like many, the brothers prayed your mercy would see their family restored. Then they learned of her death and of their father's absence. Deprived of hope and hate all at once, they had nothing. But my apologies for rambling. No, it was a rather enlightening tale. I spared the woman who brought him pain, and took the brother who brought him comfort. I would hate me too. I swear I will set things right for Tanbo, for all the people of Doma. Please, return home, Ise, and be safe. Let us return to the Doman Enclave. This ordeal has given me much to consider. So, do they abandon us in the middle of nowhere?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Okay, and this time I will be back in a minute. Meow.
Nature calleth. Makote, listen. Yeah, we've been putting off these role quests for a little too long. But we're at a nice point in the MSQ to do so, so we're off a doing. Only hope we can actually hit 90 before we hit the 90 role quest. That would be good. Otherwise, I can't think of what else news is going on. The only other thing I can think of is that there are people in the courts wrangling whether the Blizzard Microsoft deal should go through or not. And a lot of that comes down to antitrust, but I don't think there's that much of a case. Yeah, 1 washroom for 3 people. The life of apartment in Silicon Valley. I'm just happy we have this place. There's a lot worse places for a lot more rent out there. Well, usually we make the bathroom sharing kind of work. It takes a bit, but it is what it is. So how are your days going, guys? Hopefully all has been well and peaceful. And maybe a little dull. Dull is good. It's better than exciting in not the right ways. And I should probably sit closer to my mic. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I've been slowly working my classes to get them up. I'm currently got, of course, 90 Dragoon, 90 Sage, 90 Red Mage, hopefully 90 Dancer by the end of the night.
Likely. Well, maybe not. You're not that far into 89.
Yeah, the problem is the last quest is 90, so...
Yeah. Well, I will certainly hit 90.
Knock on wood. They need a writing map for the Doman Enclave.
No, Urza needs to go slow, make sure she doesn't knock over any pedestrians.
Way!
Can you imagine how much it'd hurt being run over by a draught chocobo?
It would hurt a lot. I do not envy Lord Hien the burden now thrust upon him, but he shall not have to bear it alone.
I owe you a great debt for your timely assistance, and an apology, for I've made you an executioner in young Tanbo's eyes. Would that I had been the one he witnessed cut down the beast his brother had become. But we haven't time to dwell on regrets and what should have been. No, we need to take action, and after hearing of Tanbo and his brother, I believe I know what must be done. A great many of our brothers and sisters were returned to us in the prisoner exchange. But even so, there are those who yet remain lost to us. Meanwhile, Yosuyu, who is directly responsible for much of our people's suffering, was never held to account for her crimes. In death, she claimed vengeance for her suffering at the hands of her brother, but it came at the expense of justice for her countless victims. People of Doma have every right to resent me for failing them and their grief. But what of those who cannot bring themselves to do even that? Who are left alone with their anger and their pain?
It may very well give way to despair, and then...
They would share the same fate as Tambo's brother, yes. Which is why we must needs consider who else might share in his anguish, ere we find ourselves beset by more beasts. I will begin making rounds of the villages to inquire after those whom their neighbors believe are more distressed of late.
Very good. I and the other shinobi will continue our search for the blasphemy which set these events in motion.
And you, my friend, we will have need of your talents again ere long. Rest assured, we will keep you apprised of our findings.
Well, here's a question, Rye, that just kind of popped into my head.
Mm-hmm.
With Heidelin now at rest, do we still have the Blessing of Light?
Well, it was an actual blessing that she had conferred. But it was, a blessing. So, it'd basically be like a buff with a timer on it. And I'm guessing it has a really, really long timer.
And remember,
and of course, the echo itself is not part of that, technically.
Yeah, the echo and the blessing are two separate things.
I kind of get the idea the reason why we kind of have the echo is because of the blessing, but they aren't the same thing.
Yeah.
It opens up an ability that most people just don't know about anymore.
Exactly. Foxstar, that is actually correct. Catspaw has his own little bathroom cloistered way in the back, and that's his to deal with.
Well, that's
Brindis
basically
and
the master bath to go with master bedroom because that's where his office is.
Yep. And Baron Rindis and I all have to share the bathroom in the hall. Because that's just how it ends up. When the kami...
Are you ready for part 2?
Yes, we are.
When the kami answer. Lord Hien's extended absence from the Enclave does not sit well with Yugiri. It's been, what, a minute? Really?
Ah, Thayrin, Rylea. We have yet to ascertain the whereabouts of the blasphemy from Usari, but for a blessing, we have received no other reports that others have turned. Lord Hien, for his part, was made a concerted effort to go about the villages and converse with the subjects directly. I suspect his constant presence has served to allay the people's fears.
Helpful.
As one might expect, he has ever been dedicated and diligent, but I fear he may be away over long. I thought to go and visit, and that should have been his last destination, Isari. May I ask you to accompany me? Of course, always.
Since it's on one of the maps we can go to, sure. Yeah, I mean, if it's in the backwoods areas that we don't get to go to, sorry, you're on your own. Why is it there's certain parts of the world we can never go to?
I'm sure there's no cause for concern, but nevertheless, I should be glad to find him quickly. And back to you, sorry. Ursa wants to fly out of the Enclave, and they're not letting her. There's not enough aether currents here.
No. Ooh, does that mean the aether here is stagnant and we need to worry about... Oh, I hope they're all happy.
Well, with the rebuilding, I'm sure things have gotten a lot better here in the Enclave.
And I'm pretty sure we don't need to worry about the Adventurers Club.
Yeah, they're happy as larks doing their school thing and adventuring thing. And
I miss them in Mordona.
I do too. Oh, he's out in Asari in the Ruby Sea. I was wondering why I wasn't getting a bang on the map.
Heh.
Yeah, a lot of people miss them in Mordona.
And I'm trying to remember when Yugiri initially shows up.
She shows up in AAR Plus.
Well, that's what I mean. When? Q3?
I think patch 2.2.
In that case, the Buns should see Yugiri soon.
Yes. Yes, they should. Because she is pretty much instrumental to a lot of the AAR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, somewhere around here is oh god. Now I can't remember the name. The old warrior? Or the old marauder? And his granddaughter?
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah, he took a boat to travel to the east so he could visit his buddy
yes.
Home.
Yes.
Thank goodness we found him. Why has he remained here so long, I wonder?
I'm sure he'll tell us.
Burbs, you could stop that.
Work?
Yeah, they're not stopping that. Sorry, continue, Lord Hien.
Rylea, Thayrin, Yugiri. My apologies if I gave you cause for concern. Assessing the state of affairs here in Asari has proven difficult.
Oh?
To put it simply, the people, one and all, refuse to speak with me. They simply bow their heads and turn away at my approach. Knowing the blasphemy originated here, I cannot help but wonder if that has aught to do with their silence. Perhaps you could attempt to engage with the people in my stead. Surely they have no cause to deny the two of you.
I should hope not. Nevertheless, I will don a disguise, lest I draw undue attention. Come, Thayrin. Rylea, let us see what we can discover.
Thank you, both of you. So, Gary, what are you going to disguise yourself as? Maybe a pair of idiot birds who don't know any better than to try and stand on each other? They're not getting the hint.
No, they are
Griff is looking at me and totally not getting the hint.
Yeah, they're having a thing. Hien?
Do the people here not wish for the monstrosity to be laid low, and for peace to reign once more? Why have they elected to behave in this manner? Oh, now you stop.
Bird brains. My guess is it's someone they cared about.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to the burly villager.
Mm-hmm. And we're not talking to him. That Pokeball says he will be no help.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you are totally pokeballed.
I owe a great debt to Lord Hien. If not for him, I would still be fighting under the Imperial standard. The village suffered dearly under the occupation. Tomorrow our Lord failed to punish the Viceroy for her crimes, and failed to reunite many with their loved ones. I understand why some would think poorly of him, even if I do not.
Right.
It's kind of hard to punish her when she's quite gone.
Yeah, that's the problem. Excuse me, Mr. Kami-faring villager?
Oh boy, she sure punished us a bunch a few months ago.
Yeah, well.
And named your chair. A blasphemy? You're mistaken, my friend. Our village was visited not by a monster, but a kami, Izanami. Oh dear. Where Lord Hien is cold and callous, she offers us boundless compassion and love.
Okay, we have a problem.
Concerned villager, yeah, I'm concerned too.
Aye, that's right. The blasphemy was born of a young woman here in Asari. Tragic, really. Every day she prayed for the safe return of her husband, but that was not to be. If I'm honest, I fear the loss drove her poor stepmom mad. Kisei has ever been devout believer of the kami and their blessings, but she somehow convinced herself that Minamoto has become one. The delusions of a grieving parent, obviously, but an alarming number of people have come to share her belief. Heresy is what it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's not good. This is bad. Bad, bad. Very bad. Very bad, bad.
Definitely bad.
Mm-hmm. So we run halfway across the beach.
Yeah, well. Why have a beach if you can't run across it?
The situation in Asari is complicated, to say the least. Yes, it is.
I see. Little wonder they would refuse to confide in me. The belief held by some that this blasphemy is a kami, however, is quite concerning. Izanami presides over life and death. She gave birth to the nation of Doma and ushers souls of the departed unto the land of the dead. I trust you understand what it would mean to deny them a source of hope in such dark times, even one such as this.
The villagers also claim that Kisai can speak with the dead. In fact, she will be holding a gathering to demonstrate her powers ere long.
The perfect opportunity to gauge the extent of their fanaticism. Not for me, of course. My presence would draw undue attention. Might I ask you both to attend in my stead?
I think that can be arranged. Her followers will be gathering in the tavern. Come. Oh boy.
Sinny.
O spirits of Isari, I beseech you, lend me your voice and let the presence be known. Cross the veil and be among us once more. I could see.
Father?
Still tending the nets, like I taught you?
Yes, Father. Every day. Thanks to you, we never went for fish. Our bellies are never empty. I am proud to be your son. I was always too embarrassed to tell you before, but
I am proud to have been your father. May you be ever blessed by the sea's bounty. Ugh! It hurts!
Father, what's wrong?
He is in terrible pain, my child. Those who have cheated death's design yet live. It has disrupted the natural order, and the spirits will suffer for it.
What must we do to ease their pain?
Fear not. Izanami shall put all to right. She claims the souls not long for this world and delivers them unto the hereafter. When her work is finished, your father's spirit and all the others will find peace.
Can you find my father? Can you help me speak with him?
Kisei, can you commune with my husband?
What about my family? Help me, Kisei, please.
Oh boy.
Hmm.
She seems convincing enough, but was it truly Akutsu's father that spoke through her?
Yeah, I'd kind of like for Yustola to be here for that. So, Is Kisei's ability all that she claims?
I'm not so sure.
A young man spoke with his dearly departed father through her. I find that rather hard to believe.
Even so, those in attendance appeared quite convinced, my lord.
Thank you, Foxfire. Izanami no Mikote, now there is an autocorrect.
Yeah. Your line.
Yeah. And I suspect a great many of the villagers I've spoken with recently are as well. Everywhere I went, the people were in so much pain, and there was nothing I could do or say to give them solace. Yet for all their anguish, there has not been a single report of villagers turning since the incident with Tanbo's brother. Which can only mean word of Kisei and her ability to speak with the deceased has spread. They believe we can commune with our loved ones, and death is a comfort far beyond my power to provide. Though I fail to see how the people could abide the kami claiming innocent lives to restore order. She comes! Izanami! The blasphemy? Here?
Let's see what we're dealing with. Oh no. Lord Ian, the kami, she appeared as if from nowhere, and the next instant this poor man was...
Oh, we were too late.
Isn't this the Garlean, ex-Garlean soldier we were talking with? Yeah. Wasn't he one of the
Yep.
villagers returned in the prisoner exchange?
You recognize him then? Curious that he and the blasphemy's first victim were former conscripts. What could the fiend be after, I wonder?
It does not to become my lord to speak ill of the kami. I understand you are come to investigate the rumors of a monster born in our village. A blasphemy, you call it. But you are sorely mistaken. My stepdaughter, Minamoto, was chosen to serve as a vessel for Izanami. I witnessed her ascension with my own eyes. Oh dear! Here comes the headache. Minamoto, please. I can't. I won't. There's no logic in it. No justice. The Witch of Doma is spared, given a second chance, and my husband condemned to die as a conscript. I'll never know what become of him. Lord Hien can't even give me that. And when I look at the families he made whole, at their happiness, I feel the hole in my heart, the gaping wound that will never heal, begin to bleed. Only my but only at my beloved's side will I find peace. You mustn't lose faith, Minamoto. We all will. All will be well. Trust in the kami. Izanami. I want to believe, but oh boy.
Yep.
Izanami is what's come to bring peace to the souls of the departed, to restore balance between the world and ours. Surely you wouldn't dare to defy the will of the kami.
This balance you speak of has claimed the lives of 2 innocents, but recently returned to us. I cannot, I will not, accept that the kami would condone such cruelty.
No crueler than the sight of you free and forgiven, while my husband and the son fought for Garlemald's wars, now dead and forgotten in foreign lands. With all due respect, Lord Hien, it is not your duty to protect Doma and her people. How are we to place our faith in a man who places the enemy's safety and well-being above those of his own subjects? Only the kami are deserving of our adoration, as they have always been. Oh boy. This is going to be a right mess.
It already is.
Are you two alright? For a moment, you seemed You seemed unwell. Yeah, the echo does that sometimes. Sorry.
We've got to get better control over that.
And it's so fickle.
The villagers are no doubt loath to ask it of me, but preparations must be made for burials and funeral rites. I can offer that much at least. You seemed distracted during our conversation with Kisei. Is something the matter?
You're gonna love this one. Yeah, it was totally a blasphemy.
The echo. And the blasphemy was indeed born of her stepdaughter. To bear witness to such horror, how her mind must have struggled to comprehend what she saw. And as a woman of faith, perhaps her only surviving family becoming one with the divine was the only reality with which she could come to terms. I believe I know now what must be done, but I pray her fervor does not drive her to oppose us. Come, let us return to the Enclave.
Yeah, we're close enough.
Someone feeling lazy?
I'm also watching the time. We're only 2 quests in, and it's almost 10:30.
This should not be a surprise.
2 quests out of 5.
Still should not be a surprise. These are not short chains. You know it's gonna go away in a moment.
I know! But, at least I could be dry for a little bit. Right, Yuguri? Yuguri, why'd you steal my umbrella?
See?
What do you suppose Lord Hien intends to do?
From what you told me of your vision, the nature of Minato's despair, as well as the focus of her ire, is clear. 'Tis plain she was a good-natured and kind-hearted woman, grieving for the loss of her husband. This loss alone may not have been enough to turn her, but my failure to hold Yotsuyo to account, together with the sight of her other families reunited, compounded the turmoil in her broken heart. A path to despair paved by my good intentions, a truth that will weigh heavy on my conscience unto my dying day. Minato was prepared to die in sadness rather than live in hatred. She could see the beast she's become. She would implore us to stop her. Which is why we must find the others who were returned to us in the prisoner exchange before they come to harm. Once their safety is assured, we may hunt down the blasphemy and bring a close to this tragedy. And...
Da, 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 da. Grats!
okay, what'd they just give me? Minstrel's Coda. Various buffs upon singing the songs. Okay, Troubadour, yeah. Yeah, and how do you get that? Increases Gradient Finale, which is a new button. Thank you.
Of course it
As
is.
if I don't have too many buttons.
At least you're not playing Ast.
Increases damage dealt by self and nearby party members. 15 seconds. Ah, okay. And that links in with the codas. Of course, I have no idea how long the codas last. Okay, and that's the codas over there as part of the song gauge. That's all the previous stuff. Okay.
Okay?
You ready to get soaked? I guess you are. Home no longer. There's work to be done, yet Yugiri appears reluctant to take action.
Ah, Thayrin, Rylea, if you could come to ask about the blasphemy, I have naught to share. As of yet, our shinobi have seen no sign of the beast. The returnees, however, are all accounted for, and Lord Hien has seen them safely to Kincaid. As such, he is presently assisting with the hunt. For a blessing, there have been no reports of the other villagers turning, and yet, before the situation takes a turn for the worse, there is a matter I feel warrants further investigation. Kisai.
Yeah.
Though the villager of Isari, I suspect she may be, in fact, hail from my home, Suinosato. Knowing they would be loath to answer my inquiries, I entreated the Kojin to contact Suinosato in my stead. To hear it tell, Princess Kurenai has made some great strides in establishing stronger ties with the outside world. At mention of Kisei, however, their cordial welcome turned strangely cold. If we are to learn more, I fear we have little choice but to speak with the people of Suinosato ourselves. A simple visit for you, I imagine, but my banishment complicates the matter. That said, it has been many years since I left home. Were I to disguise myself, I might go unnoticed in your company, if you're willing to take the risk.
What's the worst that could happen?
Thank you. Let's make for Orinoco then.
Onokoro. Orinoco is something else entirely.
Well, whatever it is, we've got Freeport, so. And hopefully it's not, like, downpouring. No, but it's threatening. Yay!
Meh. Sure we want to fly while we're still soaked like that?
Do we have much of a choice?
If I catch pneumonia, I'm blaming you.
Ah, I remember that suit. The garments I wore when we first met. Sufficient, I think, to conceal my identity. How many years has it been since I saw my home? You know your parents still worry about you. I am a shinobi of Doma, but even as a child, I sought to ensure the safety and survival of Sui no Sato. It was quite bold in those days, if not a touch reckless, and together with the other children I often ventured beyond the borders of our home. We yearned for adventure, so one day we sought to behold the wonders of Doma. Imagine to our horror to discover a city of ruin and ash, Imperial soldiers marching through the streets. We fled at the sight, but in my haste I was lost my way in the bamboo groves. It was there I first met a young boy named Shun, a sweaty mess as he swung his wooden sword with reckless abandon, training to fulfill his duty as a samurai, he said. Having seen the destruction of which the Empire was capable, I too felt the need to protect my home. I joined him in the exercises, and every day my resolve to protect those I love grew. Sadly, my elders refused to listen. They were content to remain hidden beneath the waves, and hopefully the Empire's notice. With a heavy heart, I left in search of the strength I believed we sorely needed, and I found it as a shinobi. But the people fear war and conflict would follow on my heels as I return. I do not begrudge them their decision, nor do I regret my own. Part of me is overjoyed at the thought of seeing home again. Openly defying the wishes of the Ruby Princess, however, would bode ill for my family. They have suffered enough for my transgressions. This is why, for their sake, I would remain naught but a faceless shinobi at your employ. Thank you. With that in mind, let us make for Sui no Sato. Yeah, Foxfire, flow. Flow bad. Cat Mom really needs to stop reaching for that spell every time she's in trouble. Oh, that was quick. Oh, you found your hood again. I thought you'd lost it in a tuffle. All these years, and naught appears to have changed since the day I left. But now is not the time to reminisce. We have work to do. Gisei's departure from Suiso Sato was likely decades ago. Perhaps the village elders will know why she chose to leave.
Right.
The question is,
new mechanic time.
Did she choose to leave, or was she kicked out?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Elder. Can we have a few questions with you?
Kisei. name sounds familiar, and yet... Apologies, friend. My memory's not what it once was.
Let us seek out another.
Also, actually, speak with her?
So many fond memories. Pay no mind to my idle musings. Lead on.
Right.
Cheerful elder. My, it has been quite some time since I last heard that name. She was the priestess of the village, banished after drawing the ire of the former Ruby Princess.
Oh.
What has become of her after all these years, I wonder?
Why was she banished?
Please, if there's anything else you could tell us. Unagi was quite close to her, if memory serves. Perhaps you should seek her out. Mother, I'd hoped to avoid my parents, but if there's no other way... Thayrin, Rylea, may I ask you to take the lead?
Certainly.
So they need to talk with her mom. Nagiri's mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your folks actually asked about you last time I was down here. In Hamai?
In Hanami?
Mm-hmm.
I say, are you not the adventurer who aided Yugiri in Doma's liberation?
It's good to see you again. To what do we owe the honor of your visit?
Unpleasant news.
Kisei, yes, we were close, but that was a long, long time ago. Still, if I could be of assistance to the man of whom we owe so much, I would share all I know. Kisei was born to a family of priests, and even at an early age, she was possessed of extraordinary abilities. Much was expected of her, but everything changed the day she said she could speak with the dead.
Yeah.
No one believed her at first, but she continues to insist she could, and strove to prove it by demonstrating knowledge well above her years. Knowledge of events which she could not have been privy. Word of her talent eventually reached the Ruby Princess, and she was summoned to Shishui of the Violet Tides for a private audience. No one knows what Kisei said in the palace, only that the princess was
Incandescent.
Nah. Not the word I would use there.
It gets used there in a few times.
Only that the princess was incandescent with rage and ordered her exiled forthwith. Some believe Kisei revealed a terrible secret to the royal house, or perhaps spoke a blatant falsehood that proved her a liar. Indeed, the knowledge she claims to divine from the dead was not always truthful. But who was to say the dead would know the truth, or not to seek deceit? Thus, we could never be certain if it was simply a fantasy or a power divine. One thing is certain is there's no small number of people who found comfort in her words. Would that I could tell you more, but sadly I have not seen or spoken with Kisei since her banishment. Forgive me, but have we met your companion before? She looks familiar.
You don't say.
Oh god. Do we want to be that cruel? You're thinking about it, I see.
Very, very hard. I still want to spill the beans because, yeah, I think Yugiri is being overly cautious.
She's being stubborn. I say we spill the beans.
Okay. I imagine she does, considering she's...
She's gonna gut me in my sleep, I know it. You could not possibly know me. I am but a lowly shinobi of Doma, nothing more. Yes, yes. Being a shinobi, I presume you've heard the tale of Yugiri Mistwalker. Should you by chance meet her, may I ask you to deliver her a message? Tell her that her mother and father love her, and that we could not be more proud of her. I will.
You can't fool your parents.
No, you can't. I have no doubt that she feels the same, and not a day goes by without her thoughts, or without you and her thoughts. She's totally going to gut us in our sleep. I believe we've heard enough. Shall we return to Onokoro? Yeah, one eye open. One eye open. Actually, we still have the apartment in the first, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't follow us there.
Don't trust you don't trust her not to be able to get to our room in Shirley and I see.
Not even a little bit. The napping rooms are not safe. My apologies for placing you in such a precarious situation. Though I must confess, it did my heart good to see Mother and Father well. All the more reason I must do all I can to keep the peace, as a shinobi of Doma. No, as a member of the Eastern Alliance. Mayhap there will come a day when Suinosata opens to the world. A day when Yugiri Mistwalker can be reunited with her mother and father. Would that Lord Hien could be afforded the same opportunity. But Lord Cayenne and Lady Mina have long since passed. Too many lives lost to the Imperial occupation. I cannot imagine he would ever succumb to despair, but make no mistake, Lord Hien knows the pain of his people all too well. I can see it in his eyes, and if I may be honest, it troubles me at times. But perhaps I have said too much. Come, we mustn't keep him waiting. Excuse me? And one port to the Doman Enclave.
And yours is going, why did I bother?
Yes! Quay! Oh look, it's still raining.
I think it's worse.
Yeah, I think it is worse. What is this, monsoon season?
Maybe.
Yugiri, I know you don't mind the water, but this is a little ridiculous. For a blessing, Onokoro appears to be untouched by the recent chaos, for now at least.
Welcome back. I trust your journey proved an enlightening one. Yeah. History is a con artist. So she does, in fact, hail from Suinosato. Did you say she has possessed these divine gifts since childhood? Well, possessed claims to them. Genuine or no, the people believe her, and more flock to her side with every passing day. But the returnees are safe at the Kinkan. Its defense is bolstered. As for the blasphemy, I have spoken with her Confederate allies, among others, and together we will establish a network of contacts across the length and breadth of Doma to take up the search in earnest. Mark my words, we will find it.
Oh, he's the Lord of the Castle. He gets to step out of the rain for 2 seconds.
Yes. The devoted daughter. Yagiri appears armed and ready to leave the Enclave, which can only mean one thing.
We can get out of the rain?
Not nearly soon enough.
You've arrived not a moment too soon. The blasphemy has been sighted on the north coast. For mercy, there are no reported casualties as of yet.
Just the two I was hoping to see. No sooner had we cast wide our net than a Confederate messenger was at our door. If you would join us, Rasho awaits our arrival at Onokoro. As long as it's not raining in Onokoro, I'm there.
My delicate silks.
What about the delicate me?
You're delicate? Since
Yes.
when?
Since it started raining.
I see how this works. Well, it's not raining here, so...
Now I'm not delicate.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying you're water soluble?
Yes.
Zoom! Hey, Tansui.
You're about the blasphemy, yes? Lord Hien and Yugiri should be arriving soon enough.
Ratio?
Well now, that the noble Lord of Doma should come in person once again. Mayhap these blasphemies truly are a threat. Indeed they are, and I was told you and yours sighted our quarry quite recently. Aye, that we did. Near the islands of Shoal Rock. The beast appeared to be docile by all accounts, but appearances can be deceiving. If it is as you say, and this blasphemy has eyes only for former conscripts, then we have naught to fear. I trust those we accepted into our care are still in years at the Kinkan, enjoying the finest domain hospitality. Anyway, I know not why it came to the Ruby Sea, nor why it remains idle, but if we act quickly, there's a chance we can take it unawares. I propose we divide our forces. If you're willing to go ashore, we'll take a ship and circle about the islands. First to find it will have the honor of the kill. Ha, simply enough plan. Shall we be off to Shoal Rock then?
They may have a boat, but we have Urza.
I thought we had earned a reprieve from battle with the Imperial withdrawal. Seems I was mistaken. So be it. I'll not suffer this monster to threaten us any longer. Can't imagine it will take long to deal with this creature once we corner it.
Well, looks can be deceiving, as long as we keep it under control. Any soul that was left there is gone. All that remains is the residue of memory. Make ready, Thayrin, Rylea. We should find the beast first. We must be prepared to strike at once.
This is where the blasphemy was last sighted. If the fates are kind, this will all be over soon. Fates aren't going to be that kind. We have another few quests.
And there she is.
Right, the flying problem. Damn.
Such speed. I doubt even my falcons can keep pace with it.
Don't tell me that the blasphemy's flying off into the distance. I hoped the ill will it bore me in life might compel the beast to stay and fight. Perhaps less of Minato remains than I thought. Minato? That monstrosity was Minato? You knew her. Her family tried to flee to Hingashi during the occupation. But their ship was raided and sunk. When we happened upon the wreckage, she was huddled between her parents on a piece of flotsam, desperate to keep warm. They had long since grown cold. We took her to Onokoro, where we nursed her back to health. Couldn't imagine what horrors she must have witnessed. Mere sight of our weapons was enough to make her start screaming. And that's why she flew off. She was clearly unfit for our trade, so we sought a village that might take her in. Sorry was that village. Several months later, I chanced to meet her on this very beach. She was in the company of a young Auri fisherman. I knew at once she had found more than a home there. I saw them here many times after that. She found something comforting about this place, I think. Which explains what she was doing here.
According to the reports at Radzatan, the memories and desires of those who turn can influence the behavior of the blasphemies.
And perhaps Minato's memories are what compelled the beast to come here. That would also explain his timid nature. Minato was never one for violence. The sight of you, blade drawn, no doubt stirred what little of the woman remains in the monster. If that is the case, an assault on the Kinkan is unlikely, guarded as it is by her samurai. But how are we to fight an enemy so quick to flee at the first sign of danger? Robbed of her parents, her husband, now her life. I would rather we didn't have to at all. But I understand full well the risk we take by doing nothing. If we catch sight of the blasphemy again, you will be the first to know. Perhaps the next time we can put her soul to rest. About that.
Yeah, there's no soul in there to rest.
At least so far as we know.
We scarcely had time to draw our weapons ere it fled. Perhaps we must reconsider our approach.
Yeah. And glowing bows probably don't help.
I can kind of fake my chakrams, but yeah.
There is naught to do now but bide our time. Come, let us return to the Enclave.
Go here, go there, go here, go there.
You expected any less from this quest chain?
No.
Okay then.
Hey, it stopped raining! Excuse me. If the blasphemy fears to show itself, there's no telling how long it may take to track down a second time.
Yeah. Given what we have learned, it seems likely that the blasphemy will return to Shoal Rock. But that knowledge will avail us not if we cannot prevent it from escaping again. And here comes the local concerned citizens committee. Blah, blah, blah.
Lord Hien, on behalf of the people of Asari, we have come with a request.
We welcome you with open arms and open hearts. What is it you would ask of me?
Those returned to us in the prisoner exchange have been granted shelter at the Kinkan. That they yet live is an affront to the Kami's degraded design. The spirit of our loved ones suffer for it. Balance must needs be restored, and I beseech you to return them unto the goddess Iznami.
Absolutely not. 'Tis not our place to pray for the death of others, nor draw steel to sate mere bloodlust. When I take a life, be it by command or my own hand, I do so not in service to vengeance, but to uphold my duty to Doma and her people.
How did your mercy for Yatsua serve your duty? How were your people made better by the sight of her walking free?
For her crimes and her cruelty, I cut her down the day we took Doma Castle. I sought to kill her, and by rights she should have died then and there. But the Kami willed otherwise, and returned her to us alive and bereft of her memories. With no recollection of her deeds, it would have been Suyu who faced punishment, not Yosuyu. This was my judgment, and for it you were denied the justice you deserved. You have every right to resent me. But you come before me and ask that I sacrifice men and women whose only crime was to suffer, to be condemned to a life of servitude. If you truly believe your cause to be sacrosanct, believe yourselves fit to bear the burden and swing the sword, then step forward.
The law for Syrian lies. They were meant to die. The spirits demand it. Are those the words of the dead, or the living who yet mourn?
Oh, of course it's him. Q.
We have not seen him in ages.
No.
Good
Word of
luck
the
getting
Asuri-
his voice down.
Yeah, especially since it's been forever since I've heard it. Word of the Asuri priestess and her gifts is spread far and wide, and I thought to see the truth of it myself. By coincidence, I crossed paths with a traveler hailing from the self-same village, who had a mind to return as well, but alas, could not. And so he bid me to deliver a missive in his stead. Judging by the striking resemblance, I take it you are the young fisher Akitsu. Ha 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 ha. This is a letter from my father, who's severely wounded in battle, but expects to make a full recovery? He's alive? That would mean... Surely a woman of your talents can divine a plausible explanation for this turn of events.
You shall pay for this constantly. My daughter will make certain of that.
Apologies for the abrupt and otherwise unannounced arrival. As you can see, my Lord Hien, I am returned. Full glad am I for it. Thanks to your timely arrival, we have given the lie to Kisi's claims of preternatural powers.
I gather you appraise the recent events?
It did not take long to learn the state of affairs here in Doma, and that my assistance may be required. I'd heard tales of Kise channeling the dead, including the father of one young fisherman. Imagine my surprise when I saw the spirit in the flesh. He was also on a pilgrimage, paying respects to the departed, and we chanced to meet in a Liberation Front infirmary. Would that we were not brought back together under such circumstances. I am glad to see you all hale and hearty.
It's good to see you too, you old coot.
Yeah.
Someone's not happy.
But with whom? Tumbo, is something the matter? I wish to apologize, Lord Tien. It was wrong of me to say the things I said. I understand nothing can bring back my father. I was so angry, Please, Tumbo, you needn't apologize. It's just... my brother was always so brave. My father's death was more than he could bear, and it turned him into that monster. If he wasn't brave enough, what chance do I have? He wanted to perform the rites for father, but the body was never returned to us, so... Not that I blame you for that, Lord Hien. I understand nothing could be done.
I think there's a young kid wanting it for your council, Gosetsu.
That Kitsu's father survived is nothing short of a miracle. I fear he is indeed the rare exception. I have offered prayers at more graves than I can count. It would be cruel to give others the false hope that their loved ones might return. And yet, Kisei continues to do just that, offering comfort with her lies. A tempting but ephemeral balm for wounds that have yet to heal. Much like the anger some harbor for you, or resentment for the families restored while theirs remain broken. For like that poor boy whose hurts lack for hatred, who know only sadness and despair. Aye, they too may turn. Exposing the truth of Casey's deception hasn't helped matters. If we are to prevent more suffering, we must pursue a lasting solution. I would be most grateful for your counsel, Gosetsu. There is much I could learn from your pilgrimage. There is aught you require, but say the word, and it shall be done. It is the least I can do for the part I played in Yotsu's tragedy. I failed her in the end, but I will not fail you, my lord. Actually, you were a big help during that part.
You didn't
Sorry.
fail yet, Suyu. You actually saved her in a roundabout way.
Thank you again for your aid. Today's events have given me much to consider. When our next step is decided, you shall be first to know.
Yeah, and that'll probably
On
have
Wednesday?
to be Wednesday.
Yes.
If anything... Actually, we've got, what, 2 more quests to go?
Yes. You might want to get yourself a lot closer to 90.
Oh, I can probably push it tonight.
Probably.
I'm
This is
sorry,
you.
Yaguri, we're gonna have to wait on this.
And meanwhile, I'm going to go someplace where I know the food will arrive.
Well, this is the big wrap-up to a story they've been telling for nearly 10 years now.
Yeah.
Hey, look, your sushi came here.
Yes! Sushi!
It was sitting and waiting for you. So, yeah, it is being a ride.
Oh, yes.
In any case, we will all see you probably Wednesday, starting at 9:30ish. Excuse me.
You're excused.
Probably finish these up and then get back on the main story quest, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
I'm certainly not going to be able to do another one of these for a bit.
Yeah, well, I keep hoping.
I know, but there's not enough side quests to level me.
In any case, you all have a good night. Sleep well, be safe, and we hope to see you on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah,
Wednesday.
we'll see you Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Night all.
Good night, everyone.